Yo, what is up, boys? How's it going? And welcome back to another episode of the One Piece Virgin podcast. This week covering Water 7 with the Virgin herself, Poseidon. What up, gamer?
Hello! I'm sick, but I'm here!
And she watched all of Water 7.
Yeah, so if you guys listened to the last podcast, it was agreed upon that I would get halfway through Water 7 in the next 2 weeks, but I may or may not have accidentally finished it. So we're going to be covering the entirety of Water 7 today, which I'm excited about because I will say, after watching this arc, this has become my favorite One Piece
Oh,
arc, so.
hell yeah.
Oh my
God.
And, of course, we have Jordan, the anime dude, joining us today and helping us out. How's it going?
What's up, everybody? It's going all right. I'm happy to hear she really loved the arc. So definitely one that I feel like watching half of it would be kind of torturous. So
It was
I'm glad she got some free time to binge there.
Yeah, same. Because, like, honestly, like, I kind of wanted to be like, hey, any chance you could watch all of Water 7? Because then we could break down maybe Ennen's Lobby and stuff, or the next arc. But you ended up watching it all, which is great. It probably helped that you were sick, and then Water 7 just unreal.
Everything happens for a reason. I hope you get feeling better, but you know, at least you got to watch One Piece, right? Pros and cons.
Yes.
So general thoughts already. It's already like your favorite arc or something, right?
It was a very beautiful arc.
Yeah.
I feel like it had a lot of ups and downs, and it fleshed out a lot of the characters. And I feel like the character development in this arc was just peak.
Yeah.
So I absolutely loved it, and I'm very, very excited to continue with Enies Lobby, since I know it's technically like a part 2.
Mm-hmm. It's all in the same saga.
Yeah, it's the same saga. So I know after this podcast, I'm probably gonna run and start Enies Lobby.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay, so they arrive at Water 7.
No.
Go ahead.
No.
Oh,
about to say, speaking of different arcs, you never got the Long Ring Long Land Part 2, okay? You never got to talk about Aokiji, did you? You had to...
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I did not get to that part. Mr. Kuzan, traumatized by him in the TCG. I don't like him. His card is absolute bullshit, but nonetheless, I think he's a chill guy. We get to meet him on the island.
He's
no
chill.
Pun intended.
He's chill. No pun intended. But we get to meet him on the island, and he's just chilling there. Like, he's literally on the ground just relaxing. And he sees the Straw Hats, and he makes note that Nico Robin is now officially part of the Straw Hats. So he had no intention of hurting them or taking them back or anything. And then we see a bunch of people who got shipwrecked onto the island who have been there for a long time. And we see Kuzan help them, and we get to see how powerful he is. This man literally froze over an entire ocean for a week!
Yeah, it's nuts. It's actually nuts that this was part of Long Ring Long Land arc, apparently. Like, that fun, just for fun arc. Oda's like, I put a fun arc for you guys, but let's end it off with an admiral meeting the crew.
And I don't know if I'd even say Long Ring Long Land's like a just for fun arc. It is in some ways, but I feel like a lot of it's just prepping for what we get in Water 7, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
It's just showing you the importance of the crew, things like that, the bonds that they have, and what they'll do to get one back, right?
And it does help because Kuzan does have a small part in Water 7. So you at least get to see who he is, how strong he is, because he fought the Straw Hats on that island, and he had no problem fighting literally all of them.
He froze the boys easy.
Easy for him. So he's a very, very powerful admiral, somebody to watch out for. And I think this is the first time we also get to see fear in Nico Robin's eyes. Because as you know, Nico Robin is probably, at this point, one of the strongest Straw Hats. Probably one of the strongest people so far we have met. And for her to be so feared, or not be feared, but she's so scared of Kuzan because she understands how powerful he is, what role he takes in the Marines. You kind of get a glimpse of it foreshadows what's going to happen next, because he makes note that Nico Robin is a very, very dangerous person.
So, and I think that interaction affects her decisions going forward, but we could probably talk about that
Absolutely.
later.
Mhm.
We get to see Luffy take on Kuzan, and obviously he got frozen, but Luffy kind of as a captain challenged him to a 1v1 and sacrificed himself so that his crew could get away, which is, you know, a good example of Luffy being a captain.
Yes.
Yeah, he should have wore the afro. That would have worked.
Yeah, if he had the afro, Kuzan's
That was the
cooked.
power boost he needed.
Anyway, they get to Water 7. Any thoughts on like the island itself before we get into what happens?
Like the Water 7 Island itself. I think it's cool. I noticed it was very heavily influenced by Venice. You get to
Yes,
see like
for
the
sure.
canals and the bridges. So I think that's really cool. The architecture was nice. I like that it was a tiered island too. It kind of like goes up. I don't know how to explain it, but it's a ship. It's that island is specific. Its specialty is shipbuilding,
Mm-hmm.
which is good because as we know, up until this point, the Going Merry is not in good condition. She is in shambles,
Yeah.
but
And
we
the
also get
crew
introduced.
takes their money and goes, or takes their gold and goes to get it exchanged for money
Yeah.
so that they can repair the Mary. What a perfect island! And then,
But-
go ahead.
I was gonna say part of the crew goes and does that. My favorite thing about exploring the islands is the fact that the whole crew just kind of separates,
Mhm.
like every D&D party is not supposed to do, and they just go off and do their own thing. You know, I don't know how much of that's filler versus not. I can't quite remember, but are there any like favorite moments as far as like people going around the island and doing stuff, or was it were you mainly focused on them going and get that money?
I was mainly focused on like the money thing.
Okay.
We get to see a little bit of Sanji and Chopper interactions, which I thought was cool. We also get to see, I believe it was Chopper and Robin who went off on their own in the beginning, and she passes by somebody who has a mask on and she disappears. And Chopper, being a reindeer, an animal,
Mhm.
is able to pick up on people's scents, and he loses Robin's scent, so nobody knows where she went.
Dang. And all that's cool and all. I was just hoping to talk about, you know, Big Brother Zoro just out there babysitting and stuff, but
Yeah.
that was my favorite part. But okay.
No, one of the
moving on,
parts
buddy.
I thought was so funny was they finally got the money, and Luffy starts like spinning his arm with the money. He's like, "Oh, we got 100 million berries. This island's so cool. Everyone's so nice." And he's just like spinning it around, and then lets go of it by accident. So he like flings it across into the water. It's about to fall into the water. Usopp and Nami jump after it. He just grabs it. He's like, "That would have been bad if it fell in the water," as they're soaking wet. Like the little
Oh.
comedic moments of this arc are actually also really good.
Yeah, that part was
She-
great. And go for it.
Oh,
Just
God,
like-
I was about to say, she brought probably the two most irresponsible people
Yeah.
to take care of the money.
I was gonna say at least Nami was there though, right? Because
Yeah.
Otherwise they would have got ripped off with the money. So it's like
Oh,
pros and cons
100%.
of that. It's like she got them the money they deserved, but she followed it up with "Now I'm rich," and they're like, "Hey, that's for everybody. We need that for the ship."
Another funny thing was they kept on mistaking one of the shipwrights, Kaku, as Usopp over and over.
His nose. He has a square nose.
Yes.
A long square nose.
And then Kaku's like, "The round nose boy was here," like he's just specifying. Okay, let's get into more of the deeper stuff. Do you remember what happens once they arrive at the shipyard, Poseidon?
So they meet Iceberg, who is
Yeah.
the mayor of Water 7, and he's also, I believe, the lead guy for Gallery Law. And we also get to meet three other people. We meet Kaku, Lucci, and Polly. Oh, and Khalifa. Khalifa. There we go.
Polly, Khalifa.
So they're
yeah.
all a part of the Gallery Law. So I'm gonna preface this just really quick. I'm gonna go on a little tangent, and feel free to tell me when to stop. But I hate to bring this up because it's literally been my hyperfixation. So the One Piece TCG.
spoiled you hard.
Oh my god!
It
So
spoiled
I
you
play
hard.
Green Bonnie. That's my favorite deck. And one of the hard counters to Green Bonnie is Black Lucci. I am very, very, very familiar with this deck because I constantly get clapped by it at locals. So when I saw Lucci and his like little crew on the screen, I was just like, that that's weird. I was like, wow, they put like CP0, CP9 at the bottom of the cards. I'm like, oh, that's probably like the part of the gallery law. That's what they're called, CP9. So I just kind of like went through some of this arc, like, wow, CP9 is just like the shipwright.
The shipwrights.
The shipbuilding, shipwrights. It's probably just a name for them. So we'll get into this later. How bamboozled I was.
So you were still bamboozled. That was good.
I was still bamboozled because up until that point I was like, wow, the CP people, they're just the shipbuilding people. So cool. Maybe it's just like a subunit of gallery law, and it kind of was. Not the way I was expecting, but
I'm happy that you were still bamboozled.
Nonetheless.
I do think it was mentioned once that Cypher Pole was like worked for the government, but if you didn't notice it or weren't thinking about the fact that they like from the cards in that moment, I'm happy it didn't ruin the experience and the reveal for you.
Yeah, because the whole time I was like, wow, this is just a shipbuilding people, yay!
Yeah, and then it was like one moment in particular where they just announced that the CP9 is an assassination and espionage group. I guess is that when it clicked? Is whenever they
when Kokoro and Bluno were in the bar, and then I had to pause. I was like, wait a second.
Wait a sec.
Wait a minute.
I thought CP9 was.
Dude, the fact that Kokoro said it right to Bluno's face, I found so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like Kokoro a lot.
Yo, can you guys hear that? Are you guys able to hear anything on my end?
I could not.
Yeah, it's like storming outside. Jesus Christ.
Oh my god. I couldn't hear anything.
Okay, good. Chat. Anyway. What was okay? So you ended up having that with the CP9, but we do get a couple reveals in regards to the money being stolen and also what is going on with the Going Merry. Let's get into that.
Mm-hmm.
So they send Kaku over to assess the ship. And Zoro's on the ship, just taking a nap, just chilling, doing Zoro things. And Kaku goes and assesses the Going Merry and tells Zoro this ship is irreparable. It is absolutely in shambles. It will not last until the next island. And there's no way in fixing the ship. It is just completely broken. It cannot sail. It's done for. Which really sucks because we spent about almost 250 episodes with this ship, so obviously we're very, very attached to it.
It's crazy that we're 250 episodes in, and Zoro brings up a good point. The boys get stronger and endure, but a ship's injuries and wounds continue to pile up. And Mary has brought them all the way from the East Blue to this point in the Grand Line. They've went to Skypiea and back.
It's insane. The ship went through everything.
Yeah, it's also one of the big reasons they're looking to like find some type of shipwright and whatnot to don't they want one to sail with them is what they said at the start prior to ever landing on the island. Had to hold the bait drawing on the what they want them to look like and things like that. 16-foot tall dude or something like that. But you know, they really want a shipwright just because, you know, Usopp's not one, right? Like he can do his best to try to upkeep the ship, but if you're not doing things correctly and stuff, maintaining it, then it's, you know, those injuries are gonna pile on fast, right? So.
Dude, I'm just so scared that the audio is gonna be terrible. I'm happy you guys aren't able to hear it, but I wonder if chat, can you guys not hear this?
I can't hear anything.
Yeah, but I think Discord might reduce noise and stuff. Chat, is the audio really bad?
Quick sideline then. On you on Streamlabs or just regular OBS?
OBS. Okay, apparently they can't hear it. If they can't hear it, we're good.
Okay.
That's sweet. Cause it's so loud. Like it's so fucking loud. It's
if they can't hear it, I assume
good.
you're good. If they can, I was gonna say just add a filter to the mic on the streaming softwares.
Okay. Anyway, I honestly got so disoriented. I apologize, guys. Where were we?
No, all good. She was saying Kaku was telling Zoro that that the ship's basically irreparable, right? Is everything's piled onto it.
Yeah, and it's really sad. And like you said, Jordan, They were finally like, we need to spend this money on the ship. We need to get a shipwright that can take care of it going forward on the journey. They were just rookie pirates starting a journey, adding people as they went along, and they needed a shipwright, and they were finally ready to spend the money and get a shipwright. They're at the island for the shipwright, but Oda with his good writing, it's too late. It's too late, and you get these moments with Luffy freaking out and Luffy and Usopp interactions, and we'll get into that. Poseidon.
So Luffy is left with the decision as like the captain to kind of think over whether he wants to get a new ship or at least attempt to repair it. So he doesn't really give him an answer, but Khalifa hands him the blueprints for like different models they can build, and she lets him know like with the money you guys have, you guys can basically build most of what we have. So the crew, I believe, meets back with Usopp to break him the news, and Usopp does not take it very well.
Of course.
So
it was given to him on his home island. He thinks of the ship as like a crew member. It's so sad, and he wasn't there when they broke the news because he was off losing the money and getting beaten up and kidnapped.
Right.
Yes.
It's one of the other crazy parts of this whole arc, right? You basically get Arlong Park Walk Part 2.
Yeah.
This time to Franky House.
Anyway, continue, Poseidon. Sorry, I cut you off.
Yep. Sorry.
No, you're fine. So, Usopp doesn't take it well, and like you said, understandably so. This was a ship given to him by Kaya, who is somebody that means so much to him. He's bonded with the ship. He sees it as part of their crew and their family. Then Luffy breaks the news that this ship we can't fix it. We have to basically abandon it and get a new one. And you get to see the crew start to fall apart, which I think is the first time in this show we get to see tensions on the rise. Luffy and Usopp are fighting. Sanji's trying to stop the fighting. Nami and Chopper are crying, and it's really, really, really heartbreaking. So, it came to the decision, or Usopp decides to leave the crew, and is like, I don't want to be part of this anymore. And he challenges Luffy into a battle. So I believe, I can't remember exactly, but if Usopp wins, he gets to take the Going Merry. And I think if Luffy wins, he gets to do whatever he wants with it. So
And how did you feel about that fight?
Oh, go ahead. Oh, like the fight between those two, or the fight in the ship when they were discussing it?
The fight in the ship. You said it was heartbreaking, and honestly, I do like it from like Oda's perspective as well, where like usually we're fighting against a different opponent, a different enemy, but that having the internal struggle and them having to go through that is so different than we normally experience. And Zoro had to step up, Luffy had to step up, Usopp was trying to step up for what he believed in, and having those conflicting ideals and the reactions from the other members of the crew trying to get them to calm down, miscommunications and this and that, like it felt so real as well.
It was. And like, oh god, one of my, I guess, not favorite moments, I guess it is, was when Usopp leaves and Nami starts screaming at Luffy, like, go get him, you need to talk to him, he's part of our crew. Like, you can't, he's our friend. Like, you can't just let him go like this. And that's what I meant by, like, character development, right? Because in the beginning of the anime, Nami did not care. She was like, I don't care about anybody else. I just need to, this is all about me and me saving my island. And now you get to see her, you know, somebody who all she cared about was money. Like, she's putting in all the money that they have into fixing the ship. And now she's, like, telling Luffy, like, he's our friend, you cannot just let him leave like this, you have to talk to him. So I think that was beautiful character development with Nami. We got to see her grow so much and see how much she cares about everybody in the crew, when initially she was somebody who didn't really care about anybody else. So and you just see Chopper also just losing it, like, come on, like, he's leaving, I don't want him to leave.
I like Luffy having to make a hard decision as well, because he made this decision in the fight against Kuzan, but that was like a good example of him being a captain. But here, like, he had to be a captain and make the decision to say goodbye to the Going Merry and tell the crew and hold his ground. And that's another form of development as well, because in the past, he kind of does these naive and ignorant things sometimes, and he's like, it's going to work out. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But this time, like, he actually had to make a decision as a captain and kind of orders as a captain as well, which is different than we usually experience. Usually it's just like, oh, they're a bunch of friends. When in reality, it is a captain and crew.
Yes.
Right. And there's certain moments in that and stuff where, like, big life-changing moments for the crew as a whole that affects all of them, that, Luffy's like, I took this decision seriously. I thought long and hard about it. It wasn't an easy decision, right? But at the end of the day, if the captain makes a decision, it's not... I love how they don't make light of challenging that and going against it, right? Like, you need the conviction to be willing to leave the crew if you want to try to enforce that, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, this is the first time we ever see one of the Straw Hats no longer be a Straw Hat, right? We have somebody leave the crew for the first time. So
now let's talk about. Sorry, I thought you were.
No.
Okay.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think that. I guess one thing we could go from there is they had just gone to bat for the dude, right? Like, you messed with one of us, you messed with all of us, and we had the whole fiasco at the Franky house, right? So I don't know if that's where you were leading to there.
Yeah,
or
I
not.
was gonna say we could either talk about the fight Luffy versus Usopp and then jump to the Franky situation, which happened prior, or up to you, Poseidon. What do you want to talk about next?
I think we should highlight Franky because he is definitely a new character that we get to see up until this point, and I think he's important to talk about. So we know that Franky, he is part of a ship dismantling I guess group. So the Franky house, their job is to dismantle ships and to sell the parts. So the people who ended up stealing the money from Usopp, Nami, and Luffy was Franky's crew, and they take it and they just spend it all on stupid stuff. So
well, you don't know what
they
spent it on yet.
Yes.
You do know that Franky spent it all in one night, and then you see him spend the leftovers at a bar. But he went to the black market for stuff. We don't know yet what yet. Continue. Sorry.
No, you're good. So Usopp goes over there to the Franky house, and tries to confront them to give him back the money, and they beat the absolute crap out of Usopp. So Luffy saw this is before the whole thing going on between Usopp
and the big thing there is Usopp kind of felt that he has been feeling these insecurities about being weaker than the crew. And he had one job to watch some money, and it was stolen from him, and he was beat up, and he was unable to get it back. So when, he felt bad that it might be his fault that the Mary can't be repaired, but also he has these feelings of inadequacy as well, feeling like he's worse than the crew, and maybe contributing to his decision to try to leave the crew, which is also important to note.
Yes, he does his best, and he does some stuff. I will give him credit. He does some stuff, but inevitably, it was just not enough to deal with.
Especially against Franky. Franky was able to hold his own against Luffy a little bit there.
Franky is a freak.
Yeah, I don't think Usopp's rubber band of doom is doing anything to Franky's front of his body.
No, absolutely not. And we get to see a little bit of the his strength a little bit later on in the arc, but basically Sanji, Zoro, and Luffy go to the Franky house, and Chopper, yes. Go to the Franky house to confront Franky's crew once again, and hey, you beat up our friend and you stole our money, and they beat the absolute crap out of all of them, and I believe the house explodes at one point.
Yeah, they literally left nothing but rubble. They destroyed the house. They knocked everyone out, gave them serious injuries. The walk to Arlong Park done again, this time with Chopper. The walk to the Franky house. Honestly, super badass moment. The boys flexed hard.
It was so good.
And they did it on Usopp's behalf. Not even, obviously they wanted the money, but Luffy even said, I don't even fucking care about the money anymore. This was for my boy Usopp. And then they have that fight afterwards, which is, heartbreaking.
Yeah, because Luffy went and basically tried to avenge Usopp, and Usopp leaves the crew. But, yeah, and then after that, after the whole Luffy Usopp thing, they fight it out, which was honestly a really good fight.
Yes.
Mhm.
Usopp really held his own against Luffy, who is incredibly strong, which goes to show how clever he is, even though he's technically not necessarily a fighter like Zoro, Sanji, and Luffy are. He's pretty smart and calculated, so he does hold his own, and inevitably Luffy does beat him. There wasn't
Mhm.
really, you know,
What
it
are,
was
what are your
pretty
thoughts
obvious.
on the fight, Jordan?
It's one of my favorite fights in the series
I
because
love it.
It's good.
it shows how courageous and passionate Usopp's become. Because it's easy to go fight somebody that's weaker than you, right? But this is his captain, is his guy that he knows he's not going to be. He knows he's not going to win this fight, right? But he
Mhm.
still does it, for the to stand by his convictions, and he goes hard, and he makes use of the witty thinking that we've seen him put on display throughout the series, right, where he's making these different inventions and things, and he uses the dials that we had just been introduced to on Skypiea to put up more of a fight than I think anybody ever expected him to, right?
Mhm.
um and he took a beating, and he left the crew, and he kind of stood by what he did. So I don't know, it's one of my favorite fights, one of my favorite moments in the series
I
altogether. But
I love it because it's so emotional as well, where they flash
mm,
back to like them being friends and having good
mm,
times throughout the fight. It's
Mm.
cool to see Usopp being courageous and brave and with a little bit of prep time and strategy and also knowing the weaknesses of his captain actually hold his own. I wish we got to see
mm,
him like this more often in fights against other people, not just against his
Yeah.
own captain. But I will say this as a
mm,
standalone was such a good fight for so many reasons.
mm,
But obviously, like you said, Usopp knew he couldn't. Like Luffy's is so durable, dude. You could do all that
mm,
stuff to Luffy, and then he hits you once, and you're knocked out. Like it's
mm.
crazy. It's like
And I mean, I
it's
think,
like 100 dudes versus a gorilla. You know. At the end of the day,
yeah,
the gorilla is just not getting touched.
yeah. Obviously, the 100 gorillas ain't touching me, right? So that's, but but yeah, it's one of those things where I think Usopp's, if we're talking just physical brawn, he's weaker than most people in the crew. He feels a little bit like he doesn't fit in that regard, and he's very useful in that, like, he's still growing. He still manages to hold his own a lot of the time. He helps in a lot of like those Swiss Army knife tool ways where he's doing a lot of the miscellaneous things that nobody really thinks about too much. He's the intangible guy, right? Like he's over there repairing the ship, things like that, making weapons for Nami. But putting all that aside, like it's easy for us to see the value in that. But like if you put yourself in his shoes, it's easy to also see why he would feel like like he's not fitting in, right?
hmm
And for that to contribute to to this boil that they came to. So it
He's the normal dude. He's the normal dude
yeah,
of the group.
yep. Normal in a lot of ways, especially physically, right? So
hmm
and he always wanted to be a brave warrior of the sea. So watching the conclusion of his arc uh come to him standing up and being courageous in that way is I don't know, it's so cool to see.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay, what happens after this, Poseidon?
Oh boy. There was a lot that happened. I'm just trying to like
Yeah, and you could go over main stuff,
figure it
whatever you
out.
want to talk about
Okay.
next.
So we come to find out, I believe it goes into the next day, that Iceberg was attempted to be assassinated by somebody. He got shot but somehow survived. So the town is kind of in a whole frenzy. They're like, who could have done this? And there are already some people speculating, wow, isn't it so weird that this happens when the pirates come into town? So there's people speculating that the Straw Hats did it. And we come to find out that Iceberg, kind of wakes up from his recovery and goes, I remember somebody in a mask who came into my room, as well as Nico Robin. He dropped her by name because
Dude,
he knows who she is.
Nico Robin's your favorite character too.
I
I would
love
love to
Nico
see your
Robin.
reaction to her like leaving the crew.
I was losing my mind. I was absolutely losing my mind. And we come to find out that she kind of joins this mysterious group that we don't know who they are up until this point. But
Do you have
you
any
get to
theories?
oh, go ahead.
Because like obviously you know what happens later within Water 7. Do you
Yeah.
have any ideas why Robin is leaving the crew and going with these government people?
So my first theory was that they have something on her, or like some sort of blackmail, or they're doing they have something on her that she cannot, I guess, reveal. Maybe she's hiding something and the government knows, and she doesn't want that revealed. That's what I initially thought, that because though
Yeah.
I up until this point we don't really know much about Robin. I think she is the only straw hat up until this point. We don't know where she came from, who she really is, because everybody else we know for the most part, most of their backstories. Robin is the only character that we don't really know about, other than she's dangerous. She destroyed. She's been wanted since she was 8, but we don't really know why. So,
I think the government
Um,
having something on her is a good theory.
yeah.
But also you need to remember that the government wants her dead. They gave her a
They
79 or
want her
69
dead.
million berry bounty at a young age. So it's weird that she's teaming up with the government
Yes.
when the government wants her dead. But I do like the
Exactly.
idea that they have something on her. I do like that idea.
Yeah.
I think one other thing we know at this point is that Aokiji mentioned that like every organization or group that she's ever been a part of and stuff basically was destroyed with her being like one of, if not the only, like survivor, right? So like we don't have her backstory yet, but like we know everything she's ever really kind of been a part of has fallen apart for one reason or another. So.
Yeah. So basically, she's a
Including
very
broke
dangerous
works.
human
Yeah.
beings. Human
Anyway,
being. Yeah.
anyway, I just wanted to see like you as the One Piece Virgin, your thoughts on that and like your ideas for like what is going on because you're supposed to be in the dark here. And sorry to
yeah.
cut you off and like ruin your tangent
No, it's okay.
and what you were on. Let's try to go back to that. Robin's leaving and she's the one who shot Iceberg, and the crew is now convicted of being the one who did it.
Yes. So, part of the crew is kind of going around trying to look for Robin. It's Sanji and Chopper. Because that's at that point they realize, wait, where the hell's Robin? Where is she? So they go looking for her, and then I think it was Nami and Luffy who end up trying to go look for the Gallery Law people to check up on Iceberg because they heard what happened. They're like, what the heck? Who did this? Who could have done this? So now we also get Franky, who finds out, who comes home to his house just completely exploded in pieces. So he goes out to find Luffy, and they also kind of duke it out a little bit. This is also where we get revealed that Franky is not 100% human. He
Hell
is half robot, half human. He is a cyborg. So
Which is pretty cool.
we kind of get... It is so cool, because at first, I believe it was Nami who thought that he had devil fruit powers, because he was doing all this like cool, wacky stuff that no normal human could be, but he was able to get into the water. And as you know, if you're a devil fruit user, you can't swim. So he was able to do that, and she's like, wait, what is wrong with him? What's going on? And we get that reveal that he is a cyborg. So that was super cool. He had like little
What are your thoughts on Franky as a
his...
character? Do you like him?
I do. I
Hell
think
yeah.
he's silly. Up until this, he's very... How do I say this? He's
quirky.
a lot.
At
But I don't mind it.
So like Sanji's my favorite character. At one point Zoro's my favorite character. But at the end of this arc, Franky was like up there. He was like one of my favorites, if not my favorite.
He's so cool.
He's
a
just
cool
a
guy.
dude that wants to do his own thing. He reminds me of Luffy in a lot of ways, but almost like more charismatic and more goofy at times.
Yes.
I mean, we get to see a lot of the silly moments and stuff with him early, or kind of like throughout this arc, but like we also get his backstory and stuff, don't we? Or
We do.
Oh, you,
Okay.
you,
I think
get,
a
you
little
get his
bit later
backstory
on.
during this arc? Hell yeah.
during Water 7? Yeah, I believe so. But I guess any thoughts on that and Tom and all those boys, or
I
Well, yeah,
was
we'll get to that
absolutely
in
Oh,
sorry.
one
sorry.
second, because that before the backstory, Pluton and the blueprints moment happens, and I wanted
Hmm.
Poseidon. Do you remember where Pluton was previously mentioned?
Alabasta.
Alabasta, and Robin was the one who deciphered the poneglyph about about Pluton, and now it's
Yeah.
coming back here with blueprints from shipwrights. So we knew that Pluton was a weapon, and now we're like, is it a ship? But this ship was something that they said they were going to build as a countermeasure, just in case Pluton was ever found, and Robin somehow involved, and certain, like, I feel like we had questions, we got a little bit of
We did.
information, and now we have more questions. So you're starting to get that aspect of the One Piece world here.
Yes. So, I guess we can kind of move forward with that
Mm-hmm.
with CP9. So, of course, they didn't kill Iceberg, right?
No.
Or I don't want to say they yet because we don't know who the heck they are. So we have this whole the next day. First of all, Robin officially tells Sanji and Chopper, "I have like a darkness inside of me, and I can no longer be part of the crew. Thank you for everything, but from this day forward, you will never see me again." And obviously, Sanji and Chopper are freaking out. They're like, "Robin, we can talk this out. Please tell us we're your friends." And she walks away. So Sanji instructs Chopper, "Go tell the rest of the crew that we saw Robin and she left, and I will come up with a plan to try to figure out how to get her back." So Chopper goes and tells everybody, and up until this point, everybody's just convinced that Robin left them, that she's going rogue and all of this, but Luffy is very determined to go and get her. So they go outside of the Gallery Law building at night because Zoro suspected that they were gonna come back and try to like finish the job on Iceberg. So bunch of chaos ensues. All of Gallery Law is trying to protect the building because they think that, oh, they're gonna come back and kill him. The Straw Hats are gonna kill him, and they have no idea. So we also see Kaku, Lucci, and like that little group inside Gallery Law. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna protect him. So there comes a point where Iceberg asks Khalifa, "Can you please bring Polly into the room, and I want to speak with him alone." So Polly enters the room, and we don't know up until this point what Iceberg is telling Polly. So Polly leaves the room, and he ends up going into, I believe, Iceberg's office. Iceberg instructs him there's a safe under his desk, I believe, and to take whatever's in there and, like, I think, was it run with it? He do something with it. So we see Polly do that, and we see, I think, two masked figures follow Polly, and they beat the crap out of him. And Robin and the other masked figure come back into the room to attempt to finish the job. And then outside, we see another masked figure kind of beat up the rest of the Gallery Law people out there. And the Straw Hats are kind of playing it patient. They're standing out there hiding in a tree. Zoro's like, we have to wait. We have to be patient. And then one way or another, Luffy somehow just disappears.
Yeah, Luffy
In
tries to like rush
Luffy
them and like
fashion.
ruin the plan, but then
Yes.
where did he end up again? Just like he got
He,
stuck
uh,
between two
right?
buildings.
Crashes into something.
Buddy was stuck between two buildings.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, you know what was really funny? Because they're like, oh, Luffy ran ahead and like rushed the front door like as he would. Therefore, the front door is going to be the best way to enter. And they get there and the front door is untouched and everyone's there because Luffy was stuck in between the two buildings. He's like, yeah, I was planning on rushing the front door, but I ended up stuck here between these two buildings.
Yeah.
So then Zoro had to knock them all out.
Yeah.
But I could tell how much you love this arc, Poseidon, because you know every little detail, or like
I was hyper
so-
fixating.
so many little details. It's so good.
I was actually discussing with one of my friends who's super into One Piece while I was watching this arc, because I would check in with him because he would ask like, "How are you feeling? How are you liking this arc?" And he was telling me that this was the arc that kind of determines whether or not you really, really like One Piece. And I'm like, man, I love this show. This show is just so good. Also, I forgot to mention, we also we do find out CP9, I think, before this point, we see Franky go into the bar, and we meet Bluno, who's the bartender,
Mm-hmm.
and Kokodo, who I think is the conductor of the sea train.
Yeah,
She's like a conductor.
something like that.
Kind of drops a little bit of very, very important information that, because the bar they were talking about, like, who could have done this? Who would want to hurt Iceberg? He's such a great man. And Kokodo's like, could be the government. Could be CP9. They're an assassination espionage group. But they are in the shadows. We don't know who they are. We don't know who they are. They're very private.
Mm-hmm.
But it could be them. And here's Blue now. Who we find out later.
Right in front of Bluno is hilarious.
Right in front of Bluno.
So this is the point in the series. What I would tell you, you're officially 25% of the way in, but you're not. There's like you're not even 20. You're I don't even know if you're 20% of the way into the series yet now, because since Animac got to this point, probably another 200 episodes has come out. So
oh my god,
how many episodes are there? Like 1,300, and we're at 250. Oh my god. Sorry, continue. I just remembered.
No,
I remembered saying that.
fine.
I remembered saying that to Animac. You're officially only 25%. He's like, oh my god, how are we only 25% of the way there? But it's actually less, far less.
Oh yeah, time passed by.
You're just under 20% of the way there, or roughly.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
So kind of skipping back, so we find out who CP, because we know it's CP9 now up until this point. We find out who exactly it is. So we find out that it's Lucci, Kaku, Bluno, and Khalifa. And Iceberg is absolutely heartbroken because these people have been working with him for 5 years.
Dude, Paulie was so heartbroken too. He was just like the only normal dude there.
They got in deep.
He was like, I'm just here to do my job, guys. So sad because he put so much trust into these people. They bonded. Paulie's like, I called you guys my friends, you know? So I can't imagine the amount of like how betrayed each of them felt. So we find out that Lucci is not mute. He was just using ventriloquism to talk with his bird, and that all of them are part of the secret government group, and their job was to retrieve the blueprints for Pluton. Was it Pluton, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Pluton.
Or it was technically like a countermeasure against Pluton or something.
Pluton, yes. And that Nico Robin is part of them as well. And we also get the whole lore drop that Nico Robin is one of the only people in the world that can read the poneglyphs and all of this. So that is why she is there.
That's why the government wants her / wants her dead.
The government wants her because she is the only person in the world that has that can have full access to these weapons. She's the only person that can unlock them, and she's very, very, very dangerous. So they Luffy barges in there. Somehow Zoro and Nami find their way in there, and they see everything going down, and they see Robin, and Robin is like, what did I tell you guys? I'm not part of you anymore. And a whole fight kind of breaks out, and we get to learn that CP9 is they're not normal people. They have special powers. They got the Tempest kicks, the finger pistols. We find out that Lucci and Bluno have devil fruits. So Lucci has, I can't remember the name, but he turns himself into, I believe, a leopard, jaguar, a cat.
Yeah,
and he's very, very strong. And Bluno has the Dordo fruit where he can turn things into doors and he can enter, which is how they were able to get into Iceberg's residence in the first place. So, yeah. So that kind of breaks out. They light the building on fire to leave Nami, Chopper to die. And then they threw Zoro and Luffy out, so Luffy gets stuck between two buildings.
Yeah.
And then Zoro again. And then Zoro survives. And he's like, man, I'm tired of these people. I'm gonna go beat them up. And he somehow gets stuck in a chimney.
Oh.
I don't know how that happened. I remember when I saw he got stuck because he was not stuck there in the first place. He landed on somewhere. He got up. He started running. I don't know how he ended up in a chimney, but he left one of his swords in the building, so Chopper ends up getting it. And then we get a small little flashback by not too long ago, with an interaction between Iceberg
question,
and Robin.
Poseidon from
Sorry,
chat.
go ahead.
No, I just wanted to cut you off there. I was a little distracted as well, but I'm back, and we have a question from chat. If you had not already known information about Franky, having just met the shipwrights at the start of this arc, who would you have wanted to join the crew? Because they want a shipwright to join the crew.
I would have wanted Polly.
Yeah, same. I think when I watched it, I'm like, Polly's joining. Does he have a devil
Polly's
fruit?
a cool guy.
Or is he just good with ropes?
He's just a cool dude.
I thought he had like the rope no me or something.
Yeah. He's just a very skilled man. And he does fit the qualifications of what Luffy was looking for.
Yeah,
so
he's a chill dude.
up until this point, if I had no idea who was on the current Straw Hats right now, it would have probably been Polly.
Hell yeah.
So
I'll go.
Anyway, continue. Sorry, I just wanted to ask that question Chat was asking.
So we get this little flashback to a little bit earlier. So while Kaku and Lucci were dealing with Polly and then Bluno was somewhere else, it was just Robin and Iceberg in the room. And Iceberg was basically like, why are you doing this? Why are you a CP9? I know exactly who you are and what you're capable of. So Robin tells Iceberg, you don't know who I am. All I care about is one wish, and I'm willing to throw away everything and destroy everything if that meant, like, fulfilling this one wish. And we find out, oh my god, I'm gonna cry, that the one wish she had was for the Straw Hats to leave the island safe.
Aww.
So she literally was willing to destroy everything, including people, get everybody killed if that meant her friends were to leave the island safe.
You're gonna make me cry just thinking about it. Oh my god.
We find out that when CP9 got her, they gave her two options. They either throw a buster call at the Straw Hats because Aokiji Kuzan was gonna call for it, which was basically they blow up the whole island and kill them, or she joined CP9 to fulfill this mission. And that the Straw Hats would be left alone, and they would they would pin the assassination of Iceberg on them, but they would still be able to leave alive. So she chose to join CP9 to protect the Straw Hats. And we find out the reason why she did this was because she was ready to die at Alabasta, if you remember. She told Luffy, just leave me here. I have no reason to live anymore. But Luffy, out of the goodness of his heart, took her and saved her life and let her join the Straw Hats. And I think this is the first time she ever felt like she was a part of a family. Sorry, my throat is like giving out now.
Exactly. Like, I feel like in the past, she was willing to sacrifice anything and anyone to stay alive and keep on moving.
Exactly.
And what would happen is the government would come after her. They would kill whatever pirate crew she was on, organization she was with, people that she was with, and she would manage to sneak away barely for 20 years. Yes. But this time, she's like, I have real friends that she cares about, and she was not willing to sacrifice the Straw Hats to keep on living.
Exactly.
Robin, best girl.
Yeah.
And the part of the agreement was that she would turn herself in to the government, knowing that if she does, she is going to die. Because she knows that they are going to kill her at some point because she is a very dangerous person. So nobody in the Straw Hat knows this yet. The only person that knows this up until this point is Iceberg. So they throw the building on fire to leave Iceberg and Polly to die. Nami and Chopper are in there. But Chopper is our goat and saves all of them.
Actually, he's a reindeer, okay?
He's a reindeer! He saves all of them, and Iceberg, everybody survives. And Iceberg tells Nami everything. He tells her what Robin told him, what the weapon is for, that he is capable, he has the blueprints, and it's passed down from shipwright to shipwright. and Nami starts crying because she understands now that Robin was never really betrayed them. She was just trying to protect them. So she goes and tells everybody, all the Straw Hats, and now Luffy. Or first off, we're gonna get to there, but now the mission is to find Luffy
And
Zoro.
Zoro.
Mhm.
We did get to see while this was happening or afterwards, Franky and Usopp.
Usopp.
You wanna
Oh
go
no!
over that a little bit? Yeah.
Oh my god, this part made me cry. I had to stop like the episode. I'm not even kidding, for like 20 minutes because I couldn't stop sobbing. So we see Franky take Usopp into like that little warehouse, and he assesses the ship, and he tells the same thing to Usopp because he assesses it and is like, "Yeah, this ship is messed up, dude. Like it's done." And Usopp and Usopp Fashion's like, "No, like we have to fix this," and he attempts to fix it, and Franky throws him into the water, and he's like, "Go see for yourself." So Usopp goes, like he throws him in the water. Usopp finally sees all the damage that was done to the Going Merry from under. She is just in shambles.
Yeah, her
so,
spine's broken.
Her spine's broken. Everything
fell
is
from the
just
sky.
messed up. So Usopp tells Franky of the story that happened in Skypiea, where he woke up in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
He saw somebody fixing the ship. And Franky goes, "Wait, really? That's weird, because that is just like a legend that people say about ships. But I've never heard somebody actually tell me they've seen this thing." So we come to find out, because before this, I'm sure you guys heard me ramble about this. I kept saying, "Who fixed the damn ship?"
And I kept
Who
trying to give
fixed
you
it?
like not a hint, but I kept on just saying like, how were they able to how were they able to return it to its original form? Like no one on Skypiea, other than the Straw Hats, should know what the ship looked like before they turned it into a chicken,
Exactly.
without the wings and like the headgear and all that stuff. And now it's back to its original form. Who the hell fixed the ship?
And the thing was, in G8, we had the little old man like, oh, I know who could have done this, and then it never got addressed because they left. Or something happened where he got cut off and we never found out, which is fine, whatever. So we finally find out from Franky, who is a shipwright, and he says, oftentimes ships have, I forgot if there was like a specific term, but basically a spirit. The spirit of the ship gets
called Cloudbattermon or something.
Cloudbattermon.
That sounds like a Digimon.
Yeah, I was about to say it sounded like a Digimon. But basically it's a spirit that is the ship spirit, and it gets very, very attached to its crew, and if it's, I guess, like so attached, it's willing to show itself in a human form with a wooden mallet. So we come to find out that, oh my god, this part had me sobbing, that the ship spirit showed herself that night because she got absolutely wrecked with that one fight with that one dude on the bird. I forgot his name already.
Yeah, whatever.
The mast was broken. Everything was just completely destroyed. The spirit of the Going Merry, loved the crew so much that she was there to fix the ship so she could at least get them safely to the next island, and she held on. So, because she loved the crew so much, and it made me cry so much. And I actually had to stop, and I rewinded to the episode where Usopp and Luffy were fighting, and you see the Going Merry, the head of the ship, crying.
Yeah.
And you see now that scene like hits so much harder because the spirit is crying, seeing the Straw Hats fighting.
The Going Merry is real.
And
a member of the crew.
Best ship in anime.
And you're just.
I was so sad.
The Going Merry loves the crew, and then seeing them fight. Oh my
made
god.
Her cry.
Yeah, they really made you wait on the answer to that one.
They really did, and it was honestly so worth it. I don't think I've cried this much in
Mhm.
One Piece up until like that point because
Damn.
she loved them so much. She loved the crew so much that she, despite being so injured and so hurt, she held on up until Water 7.
Mhm.
All the way from Skypiea to Water 7. So
Through all the quizzing and pestering we did
yes.
for that part with you and stuff, did you ever think that
No,
that would be
no,
the answer?
no. I didn't. I had no idea. I had no idea that that was what was gonna be the answer to this. So
I'm assuming Mary doesn't have its own trading card. Then let's go.
I
Saved on
think
that one.
she might, but it's like a
Ah.
stage, but not the spirit. I don't think we see the little spirit. I have to look that up. And maybe it might be a trading card in the future, but I was not expecting it to be like a literal, almost paranormal entity.
Right.
So
The Going Merry is real. The One
God.
Piece is
The
real.
Going Mary's real. So you get like this emotional moment
Do you
from
want to?
Usopp.
Yeah, keep on going. Sorry. I love. I've been honestly really enjoying just listening to you rant about this entire.
Yeah.
arc.
Oh my
Great.
god.
You've
I
really
think this is the
taken
most
ri-
I've like rambled.
I love it.
Like
I love it.
Oh, that's good.
this-
That's good.
This arc broke me in so many ways. I don't think I'm gonna ever emotionally recover. But we find that CP9 finds out that the blueprints that Polly and Iceberg had were fakes.
Yep.
They were fakes, they were planted, and we find out, I can never remember his full name, that the only other person, because Tom was the shipwright before Iceberg, that there were actually 2 apprentices. It was Iceberg and it was something Flam. I'm so sorry. I forgot. What is Franky's name? I can't remember.
I mean, people tend to just call him Franky, so that works too.
Cutty Flam.
Yeah,
Okay.
Cutting
Flam. There we go. That it was a boy named Cutting Flam who supposedly died years and years ago, and we come to find out that that's Franky, and that he is the one that has the blueprint. So now we understand why Franky is such an important part of this arc, because he also knows what Pluton is, because he literally has the real blueprints. So Iceberg kind of was already expecting. I'm sure. I remember he said the government's gonna come after me at some point. So he was already preparing for when that happened to basically have Franky have it, because nobody would have suspected Franky had it, because technically Cutting Flam is dead and nobody knows that Cutting Flam and Franky are the same person. So CP9 kind of puts 2 and 2 together, because at some point in the last 4 years, Franky goes to visit Iceberg and he uses his name, Cutting Flam. And obviously CP9 is like, what? That's weird. So they try to look for him and they run into the Franky crew, and the Franky crew, being the Franky crew, accidentally they didn't know that it was CP9. They're like, oh yeah, you can find Franky here. You can find him here. So they find Franky and Usopp, and they try to tear down his little office trying to find the blueprints. But they end up taking Franky and both Franky and Usopp, and they start to board the sea train. So this is kind of where we skip into Sanji. Sanji's been kind of observing from the sidelines this whole entire time, and he sees that they go onto the sea train, and he makes the decision to jump on.
Yeah, without the rest of his crew, they separate
without the
now.
rest. So this is actually one of my favorite moments of the arc, because it's so funny. So Sanji leaves a message on the freaking walls for the Straw Hats to find, specifically Nami, and the message was drawn in pink with like a bunch of hearts, and is like, hey, I got on the train, but he wrote it as if he was like writing it to Nami, and Nami's like, damn, he's so annoying.
I would have loved to. I didn't get this far on my rewatch. I would love to know exactly what he wrote again. I can't remember.
I think he wrote something along the lines of, "Hey, I'm here. Please please don't worry about me," or something. I don't know. But he also left a letter
Got it.
as well on the station, and like one of the people were like, "Nami, he left a letter for you." And
I remember there was like a huge
Nami
heart
reads
and
the
arrows
letter.
and stuff.
Yeah. Nami reads the letter, and it's so funny because I'm watching it in the dub. So Nami was like, "Oh, finally, the important part of the letter," and it goes, "P.S. By the way, I'm on the train or whatever." And I'm like, "What was the rest of the letter?"
Definitely the
Because you
entire
write
thing is a
P.S. at
love
the
letter.
end.
That's hilarious.
He wrote a love letter, and then he wrote what he was planning to do. So I was like, Sanji, like, what is wrong?
Priorities,
with you?
priorities.
Priorities. He had to raise first. You know what I mean? So they get the crew. Nami finds Luffy stuck between two buildings, and Aqua Laguna is about to hit, which is the annual storm that happens in Water 7. Very, very dangerous storm.
Mm-hmm.
And Luffy is stuck between two buildings. He cannot get out. He is just stuck. So Nami kind of goes after him. The wave is going to be hitting soon. And Nami tells him exactly what happened with Robin.
Yeah.
And Luffy kind of gets fired up. He's like, we have to save her.
Of course.
So he somehow was able to knock both of the buildings down by himself.
Luffy versus
'Cause he
100
was so
gorillas. Luffy
determined.
wins.
Oh
my God.
god.
Yeah.
They
And then
throw the
Zoro
swords to
stuck in
Zoro
the
and he
chimney.
cuts the chimney in half. It's so
He
cool.
does.
I-
It's so
it-
cool.
You know what's funny is I don't remember how Zoro ended up in Chimney either. I remember that, he
we don't
knocks
know.
out the shipwrights. He does that with the back of his sword. He's like, "Don't worry, I'm using the back of my sword." They're like, that can still kill him, but he does that, and then he just manages to get lost. They're like, "We're leading the way. How are you still getting lost?" And then the next thing I remember is he's in a chimney somewhere.
Exactly.
Chopper.
We don't know how that happened.
I think in the
It's
actual
just
manga, he
Zoro.
just like somehow got flung into it or fell into it. I have no idea. I don't know if it
That's
was
probably
properly
what happened.
explained.
I just know Chopper is the, like you said, the reindeer, but also the goat for actually seeing him there and just being like, "Yep, that's Zoro upside down. I see his feet."
That's so funny.
Oh my god.
We do get Franky's backstory now.
Oh,
Mhm.
so we find out that Iceberg and Franky grew up together with Tom, Kokodo, and I don't even remember the frog's name. But the frog was pretty cool.
Yokozuna!
Yokozuna.
Do you not remember
I'm
Yokozuna?
sorry!
I don't remember
I just was like,
anyone's
wow, he's
name,
a
and literally at
frog.
the very start of the arc, I'm like, Yokozuna, the Chad. he can front crawl. He tries to stop the train just like Franky. Sorry, go ahead.
So Tom we find out that Tom was the one who ended up building Gold V. Rogers' ship.
Oh!
Mhm.
So the government was going to put him on trial to get executed because they were like, if you built his ship, you were part of the reason why he was able to do all of these crimes. So you are going to die. And Tom's like, you know what? How about this? I have blueprints for a sea train that can help boost the economy for Water 7, can travel between islands, make trade easier for everybody. So the judge rules that he has 10 years to build the sea train and everything and all of that. So over the course of 10 years, they do that. We'll find out a little bit about Franky. Franky is a very reckless kid. He builds ships, tries to kill sea kings. Iceberg just is kind of Tom's little right-hand man, and they just kind of grow up together. And then we see CP. Is it still CP9 or is it just like CP?
I think they're just part of Cypher Pool, those guys. Maybe
The
CP5.
Cypher
I think
Pool,
they're
yeah.
CP5.
We meet Span Dam, who is the leader. Kind of a weird dude. He wants to kind of get justice for what Tom built for Goldie Roger. So he kind of gives him an opportunity to like turn himself in and all that, and Tom's like, no. And so Spandam, being upset, what he does is on the day that Tom was gonna get his new sentencing. They were gonna actually release all of the charges on him. That was the judge's initial plan. He's like, man, Tom did such a good job. So you know what? We're gonna release the charges. He helped the economy. He built something that's actually gonna help everybody,
including the world government. Like they're gonna be able to
including
go
the world
from
government.
different like world government places easier and move resources easier. And like he only built the ship because of this, or like we're gonna give him a lighter sentence, maybe not execution, but something else, right? But fucking spanned him with his stupid plan. Go ahead.
Exactly. So what he does is he takes Franky's battleships.
Yep.
And he blows up the judicial ship. I believe it's the one where he's gonna stand trial, and he pins it on Tom, and basically he's like, wow, yeah, this guy isn't innocent, like you guys need to execute him. And they were going to. So Franky is very upset. He's like, why would somebody do something like this? And Franky tries to beat up Spandam, completely obliterates his face, and then Tom ends up sacrificing himself for Iceberg and Franky to live, and he passes away.
So basically, it made Franky liable, and Franky was trying to say like, "Oh, those aren't my ships if they did that," and Tom's like, "You got to stand up for your ships, and if they're also guilty now, use my lighter sentence that you were gonna like take away from me because of the service that I did to save them, and still continue to execute me regardless, right? Like you could I'll take on my initial thing if you exempt them." And Tom with a Dawn sacrifices himself for the boys. Oh my god, One Piece is so good.
It's so good. I'm so sad.
And then Franky tries to stop the ship that has Tom in it in a very similar way as who?
As the frog.
Yeah! What's the frog's name? What's the frog's name?
I already forgot! I'm sorry! The long name!
Yokozuna.
Yokozuna.
Or
so
Zuma.
they
You're probably right.
load Tom onto the train to take him to Enies lobby, and up until this point, Cutting Flam tries to stop the train and gets run over and presumably died.
Yeah, they think he died.
Kokoro gets into a drinking problem. Iceberg is kind of tasked with taking over the gallery law, and then that was kind of most of the backstory. So basically, we do find out Iceberg and Franky are basically brothers. They grew up together.
And they're apprentices of Tom. And that's why, since Cutty Flam was apparently dead, he left the blueprints to him, knowing that eventually the CP or the world government was going to come after him for the blueprints.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know how many episodes were left of this arc, or is that how we kind of wrap it up? Like, where does it transition into Ennis Lobby?
We have the train.
True.
So they find the prototype for the sea train, because they took the actual like functioning sea train to take Robin and Franky and Usopp to Ennis Lobby. So Kokoro shows them the prototype. So the Franky crew joined, some of the Galleria Law people joined. So now everybody who was like all fighting each other in the beginning joined forces to try to save Robin, Franky, and Usopp.
So they're using that train and those king bulls or whatever, those big bulls, to try to catch up to the train with Robin and the CP9 and Sanji on it. Unfortunately, I do need to go. So,
I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. I love all the how long we've been ranting about this. I think we've been going for over an hour now, almost an hour 10 or something like that. So
what we'll
do is we'll cover the first half of Ennis Lobby and like the ending of Water 7 next time, if that's cool.
You know, I will admit, I will not promise I cannot get through half of it. I might actually finish Ennis Lobby.
If you finish Ennis Lobby, I'm down to talk about it next time. It just happened that like we started at 5:30 today, and I have reservations for 7, so I have to go.
Oh yeah, I know you're good. I am fortunately almost done with the semester, so
hell yeah.
I think next week, anytime after 4 p.m. Eastern, I'm okay.
Next week,
go.
or you're talking about 2 weeks?
Or not, actually 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Yeah, sorry, my bad.
So we're aiming for the 13th of May, anytime after 4 p.m. So probably around the same thing. 5:36.
Yes.
5:36 will do.
We probably should block out like an hour and a half
Yes,
next time.
absolutely, 100%.
I love how into it you're getting though. You are like, able to go over every detail.
I was telling you, I've never cried this much. Like I've cried in One Piece, but I don't think I've cried as much. Like everything's just hitting my heart so
It's
much.
huge.
I think One Piece starts off good and then gets better with Alabasta and then gets better with Water 7 and Enies Lobby, and it just keeps on going and ramping up. And I'm excited to see more One Piece Virgin reactions from you. Thank you for joining me, guys. Hope everyone enjoyed. Check out the boys. I gotta run. Bye.
Bye.